When India's squad for the T20I series was announced against Afghanistan, there was a lot of chatter, understandably so, about the fact that Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma were making a comeback. But one player very conspicuous by his absence was Ishan Kishan. Now, why do I say conspicuous? Because, well, Ishan Kishan had been playing across formats really for India over the past year plus. I mean, he'd made his test debut in the West Indies. He had been playing T20I cricket consistently when the senior players in KL Rahul, Virat and Rohit were rested, and he was also playing in a different role, let's say, in ODI cricket, because with the absence of KL Rahul for quite a while, you were tempted more often than not to try batting Ishan Kishan lower down the order, or at least in the middle order, and he did okay there for the most part as well. So to go from being that one player who's being used to plug all holes and then just not be in the squad at all is a little bit weird. But then you also have to remember that Kishan was the same player who had pulled out of the test series against South Africa, citing personal reasons, which later news reports said was him protecting his mental health and mental well-being. Most interpreted as the fact that he was not happy with his lack of chances that he was getting in the team, and that is exactly what it has proven to be. But could this have had a longer repercussion, and truth be told, is it really his fault? So first, we'll talk about two things in this video. Why is it that he has been omitted from the T20I series, and what are his prospects of getting a recall to the Indian team in the not so distant future? First, the T20I reason. Now, a BCCI source on the conditions of anonymity told this to the news agency PTI that Ishan wasn't happy that he was traveling without much game time. He's on a break right now and is vacationing. Now, that, to be fair, does make a lot of sense, because if you're Kishan, you were in a sort of predicament where you were damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because on one hand, you were playing across multiple formats in multiple roles, filling whatever gaps were needed by the team, doing so in a pretty selfless manner, but you were never getting that consistent long rope. And this is something that we have said with a lot of players, is that some of them tend to get longer ropes, the others less so. And it is a bit weird, and there's no real understanding as to why exactly it is that does happen, except for the fact that it's just, whoever it is team management prefers more tends to get a longer rope. Ishan looked like he could be one of those players, because again, why else would you be giving him a test debut? Why would you be making him bat in an unfamiliar position in ODIs and use him in T20Is if you weren't seeing him as a serious option, if not a first choice, at the very least a backup option? Even your backup options though need to be played, and that's exactly why he got frustrated. He said, I'm not being played. You're playing one game here, one game there, performing well, and then being asked to go back to the bench. Scored a double 100, went back to the bench. It did well against Pakistan, went back to the bench. It doesn't really matter what it is that Kishan does. He never seems to get that consistent run. Even if he's batting out of position, doing different roles, nothing seems to really change. So that explains why it is he took that break, because as I said, he's still on break, which is why he wasn't considered for the Afghanistan T20I series. But has this break hampered his chances long term? The short answer, yes. Because that same source then made it very clear that it's a possibility that he may not be involved in the England Test series. In fact, that's what the exact quote reads as follows. It says that selectors are in all likelihood looking beyond Ishan Kishan. It will be interesting to see if he's picked for the England series. Now, this is a pretty massive thing when you're looking at it, because it would appear then that India will either go with a KL Rahul in that spot like they did for the South Africa series, or they'll go back to a KS Bharat, who again was the backup in this particular series. Most likely these are going to be your options for the England tour, because again, there seems to be a good chance that Ishan Kishan may not get a recall to the squad in time, or let's say he may not be either over his break, or even if he is, selectors may very well be looking beyond him, which is hardly an ideal situation. Now, why it is that all of this seems a little bit convoluted, confusing, and truth be told, very unfair. I mean, this is a guy who was playing multiple roles, doing whatever it is the team asked of him, and by all accounts is someone who has never been seen as a problem child, behind the scenes. you see in the videos that Team India were putting out during the World Cup, he wasn't playing games, but he was consistently motivating the guys, cheering them around, laughing and joking, being a positive influence behind the scenes. But maybe that actually ended up being his downfall. That is why he never really got that much of a major chance when you're talking about a consistent run. But him taking that break also seems to have had the opposite effect, at least in the short term, because now it's being said that the only way he can potentially make a comeback for the T20 World Cup is to have an outstanding IPL. Well, hey, maybe this sort of a rejection is exactly what Kishan needed to light that fire under him, could go ahead, have a great IPL and get that recall. But it still reeks of a very weird sort of a prejudice, bias, I don't know what to call it, that he wasn't actually given that long rope. He finally got frustrated and pretty much walked out of the team, and then only you see news reports of these sorts happening. It's very weird. It's not a good situation for the team management and the selectors to find themselves in, and one would only hope that it doesn't end up derailing Ishan Kishan's career in the long run, because again, the whole point of being a selector, of being part of team management, is you want to make players, you do not want to break them. One can only hope that Kishan does recover from this, does end up eventually making a comeback, because there is a talented player there. I mean, let's be fair, you can pick out flaws in his game. I myself have a few times, but you cannot deny the fact that he's gotten you runs, and so therefore deserves a longer rope, one that doesn't seem to be coming forth right about now. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you can let us know that in the comments below. Don't forget to like it also, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTak app, and if you're already on the channel, well, go right ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. For now though, from my side, it's goodbye.